You're listening to the 10-minute podcast challenge that will prove every place is the same. Welcome your host, the irreverent, the cosmopolitan, the wicked, Daniela Vlaskalic.
Hello, and welcome to Every Place Is The Same. I'm here today with my guest, Frankie Day. Hi, Frankie.
Hi.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So, Frankie, you have spent time in Charlotte, North Carolina, where you grew up, I believe.
Yes, that's correct.
And in Changsha, in the Hunan province of China. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you were working there, is that right?
Yep.
Frankie, I want you to tell me a little bit about what it's like in Charlotte. What's it like walking around? What does it look like? What does it feel like?
Well, Charlotte is a very interesting city. It's in North Carolina, which is considered the South. You know, if you talk about the North and the South, the American Civil War, right? So that goes back many years. But it is the South. But also in North Carolina, there are a lot of people who moved from the North to the South. We call them carpetbaggers, which is probably not a term that people use in the 21st century. And they populated it with liberal, left-thinking folks surrounded by these red state people, deep red state people. So it's a really interesting dichotomy between those two kind of thought processes. And so Charlotte is kind of a city of opposites in a way. I lived in an area where, you have farms and you have like cows, and then you drive 15 minutes down the road and you're in the heart of this bustling metropolis. So it is a very interesting place. I think the main vibe of North Carolina is people are very friendly generally because it is still the South. But Charlotte specifically is more of a liberal place, and there are people who are definitely, they're still friendly, but they have kind of a more northern mentality.
Tell me about Changsha.
So Changsha, which is the city that I lived in China, was, Changsha is like a lot of Chinese cities where it's like this huge number of people living in one place. So there's all these high-rises, there's all these skyscrapers, there's all these people going to and fro, and street cleaners, et cetera, but it's also, I think, a very laid-back place a little bit.
Would you say that Charlotte is laid back?
I would say Charlotte is laid back kind of in the way that southern cities are laid back, but not necessarily. I would say Charlotte's like kind of laid back. Yeah, I would say that to a degree.
Fascinating.
Yeah, but Changsha generally, it is a big city. There's a lot of hustle and bustle going in there. It's so many millions of people living on top of each other. You'd ride on the bus, you'd go, I taught at a university, and you'd ride the bus from the university to downtown, and you'd be packed next to all these people, riding the bus. So
do people take the bus in Charlotte?
I have taken the bus in Charlotte, but I don't think people take the bus in Charlotte so much. Normally, you drive in North Carolina.
Now, did you know that in Charlotte has the NASCAR Hall of Fame?
I did know that, yes.
So people like their cars in Charlotte.
People like their cars, true. Exactly.
So a lot of driving.
A lot of driving.
Now, have you ever driven a NASCAR?
I never have, but I would love to one day.
And do you think that you could drive a NASCAR in Changsha?
No. There's too many cars on the road. There's too many.
But they like their cars in Changsha as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Both cities like their cars.
Yes, both cities like their cars. I would say that, yeah.
Charlotte is the 49th most walkable city in the U.S.
I did not know that.
Out of 50 states.
I did not know that. That's news to me.
So that's not a lot of walking.
That's not a lot of walking. Now that you're saying it, 49th, there's only 50 states, so yeah. That's not that much walking, no.
No, and what about in Changsha?
Do people walk there? I would say no, not really. A lot of bike riding, a lot of bus riding, a lot of cars, vehicles. Yeah, not too much walking. I don't know where it ranks on the most walkable cities, so I'd have to.
But probably not very high.
There are a lot of cities in China, so a lot of cities in Hunan province. So maybe not very high. Yeah,
maybe not very high. So tell me a little bit about the street food. Now, Changsha likes to have spicy food, from what I understand.
Yes. So,
do you like spicy food?
I love spicy food. living in China in Hunan province. They love spicy food there. The number one food of Hunan province of Changsha is a thing called chodofu. It's stinky tofu. It's tofu that's fermented over a period of time and then fried until it's burnt to a crisp, and it smells like death.
And do you eat it? Do you like it?
Once you get past the smell, it's actually pretty good.
Do you have a favorite Spice Girl?
I feel like I should say scary, but it's probably Posh.
Probably Posh.
Victoria
Okay.
Beckham.
Now,
Yeah.
is there spicy food in Charlotte?
No.
No spicy food.
No, our main thing in Charlotte is barbecue. We do barbecue.
But barbecue can be spicy.
Can barbecue be spicy? I don't know. I don't think so.
No?
No.
Okay, but if you were going to have some spicy food or you're going to have some barbecue, what would be a really nice thing to wash it down with?
Well, it's great that you asked that, because Cheerwine, which is the soda...
Tell me about Cheerwine.
Cheerwine. I brought some Cheerwine today.
I'm going to just open this up right here. So try.
Oh, yeah. That's a solid... yeah. It's a cherry-flavored soda. I like to say it's more cherry than cherry cola, but less cola than cherry cola. It's like in the middle. It's what do you think about the flavor?
It is really good.
Yeah.
I really like it. Now, do you think that they would like this in Changsha?
Yeah, they might. They might like it for sure. They like, the Changsha people like soda, and it's a great soda. Number one soda. I think one of the best sodas in America.
So soda is popular in Charlotte and Changsha.
Yes, true.
Shazam!
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
I love this.
Oh, great!
Thank you for bringing in this cheer wine.
It's from Salisbury, North Carolina, which is right next to Charlotte, and you can get it anywhere in North Carolina. So if you ever go, drink some cheer wine.
Do you bank?
I do bank. I think you have to in this society that we live in today.
Do you bank with Bank of America?
I do not bank with Bank of America.
How about Wells Fargo?
I have banked with them in the past, yes.
Now, did you know that Charlotte is the second largest banking center in the U.S.?
I did know that, yes.
You did?
Yes.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because, I don't know, we just had a bunch of banks back in the day, and a lot of banks, because they wanted to kind of be in this financial hub, moved their headquarters to Charlotte. And also back to the thing about people moving from the north. There were a lot of people from New York. They have banking experience. They moved to Charlotte, and now they can do their banking, their work with the bank in Charlotte.
And how did you bank in Changsha?
I used the Bank of China.
Bank of China. So China also has a lot of banks.
They do have a lot of banks.
So people need somewhere to put their money.
They do. You can't just keep it under your mattress forever. You got to do something with it eventually.
Absolutely not. And so you could use your bank card, whether you're in Charlotte or in Changsha?
I could use I don't think I could use my American. No, when I did have Wells Fargo, yes, I could use my American bank card in China.
Wild.
Yeah, it's wild.
So talk about, if you want, Billy Graham.
Billy Graham. So I like Billy Graham.
Hallelujah.
Because Billy Graham he's a televangelist. Well, he's an evangelist. He's not really a televangelist. He was proselytizing. He's from North Carolina, and he had a church. He's recently passed away, but he had a huge church in North Carolina, in Charlotte, and he did a lot of good in the community. I think he was a good guy. I think he talked about a lot of important things. I'm not so wild about his kid, Franklin Graham, who is he's an older guy now, who has said a lot of negative things and really, aligns himself with some kind of nefarious folks. But Billy Graham, we have Billy Graham Parkway.
Yes.
In Charlotte, we have the Billy Graham Library. So he's a guy with a lot of...
He's a notable figure.
A notable figure.
Now tell me about Chairman Mao.
Chairman Mao was the leader of during the revolution that brought into the power the Communist Party in China. He is actually from Hunan province, nearby Changsha. I've been to his birthplace.
That's right.
And about him personally, I don't really have many thoughts about that. But he was very influential.
Absolutely, much like Billy Graham.
Much like Billy Graham, exactly. And you could even say Billy Graham was the leader of a lot of the South because, North Carolina, Charlotte, it's in the Bible Belt. So when what he says goes. So much like Chairman Mao, I think. he had a lot of influence.
Do you think I would look good in a Mao suit?
Like the buttoned up, all the way up, and then all the way up to the collar.
Yeah,
and
the
little
beautiful Mandarin collar.
Yeah, for sure. I think you could rock that very easily. Yes.
I think so too.
There's a cap that goes with it. I don't know if
I've actually been to Tiananmen Square and I've seen the big portrait of Mao.
Yes, it's a gigantic portrait, and it overlooks you while you're in Tiananmen Square.
Yes, it does.
It's a little bit
just like Billy
intimidating.
Graham overlooks you.
Yes, very much like Billy Graham overlooks you. I assume from heaven, maybe? I don't know.
Perhaps. Well, Frankie, I think that you would look amazing in a Mao cap, and I actually have one upstairs in my closet.
Okay, we'll try it on later. Thank you.
Walking cities, love for cars, banking, and two powerful leaders. I want to thank Frankie Day for helping to prove, once again, that whether it's Charlotte, North Carolina, or Changsha in the Hunan province of China, that every place is the same.
Yeah, I think you made a strong case.
You just listened to Every Place Is The Same, hosted by Daniela Vlaskalic and produced by Drumcast Productions. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and follow us on Instagram at Every Place Is The Same. Until next time, enjoy your travels.